All right, so here we go. It's what is this? Thursday? It's Thursday night. It's time for us to have another episode of the Artistic Biker Live. Dun, 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 dun. Got the boy with me this week. He's gonna sketch along with us. Going to paint a mini. I would show you what I painted last week. Last week I did a pinup sketch of Holly Dolly Burlesque. But I mailed it to her, so I don't have it to show to you anymore. I mean, I could pull a picture up of it on my phone, but you can just go ahead and click last week's show and you can see it that way. So, but this week we're going to paint a mini, and I've got this deck of cards here that I had made up. I've actually got several decks of cards like this. It's just a regular deck of playing cards that have the Artistic Biker logo on them. And you can see they're just a regular deck of cards, and I sand them down and I paint on them. So like here's a salamander that I painted, and here's a winter scene that I painted, and I've got a card here sanded and prepped ready to paint today. And I started doing this a long time ago so that I could have a daily painting practice. I wanted to be able to paint more. You know what? I just went through that whole process. I could see it and you could not. Here are the cards. Here are the cards. They're just regular playing cards with my logo on them. And there's the salamander, and there's the winter scene. I went through all that process, and I didn't have the right camera on. I used to have a producer that would tell me when I was on the wrong camera. But she can't be bothered. No, no, it was my mother. She's at home with my dad now. So anyway, I've got this card ready to paint, and I'm going to tape it down. I like to tape them down onto this board that I have marked off like this, so that I can manage the borders. I've got some painter's tape here. I need something heavy. This will work. That way I can make sure I tape it down flat. Trying my best to keep that border about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. It's not important that it's 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch. You know, for our purposes, it's not even really important that it's even. It's just, I think it looks better if you have a consistent border all the way around. So, that's what I try to do. Try to get that. Because it's so small, I'll try to get that 1/8 inch all the way around. And this isn't, there are people that paint a lot smaller than this. There are people that paint on the bottoms of thimbles. There are people that paint on grains of rice. There are people that paint on stuff that's a lot smaller than this, little bitty 1 inch by 1 inch squares of paper. But I find that if I paint too small, it becomes too much work. If I paint too big, it becomes too much work. To be able to paint frequently, I wanted something that I could do small and quickly and just knock out. And so these cards are just pretty much perfect for that. So I'm going to paint. I have this orange set up there. Ooh, the camera is on, but it is transition. I have this orange set up there is how I have that going, and it is not, for some reason, not a live feed. I don't know why that's not a live feed, but we'll see what happens with it, and we'll get this going.
That's where the mini plates went.
I bought the mini plates just to use as palettes. I'm going to use some obvious colors. I'm going to use orange because, you know, it's an orange. I'm going to use yellow to lighten it. I'm going to use white. That's you. You're not drawing. Why aren't you drawing?
I don't know that we were starting yet.
I'm going to use white. I'm going to use some Cad Red. Oh, this is Scarlet actually. And Carmine, and I need some green. And I'm going to need some purple. Now I can mix these colors. This is a convenience thing to use the pre-mixed colors. But I want to start with blue and white. Because, oh, I tell you what, I need to kill this light. I need to make sure that I don't have too many shadows going around on me.
You had 2 shadows a couple seconds ago.
I know. I had to move that ring light way up there so that I didn't have a multitude of shadows on here. And then let's use this white down here. I'm going to use the liquid white because I have so much of it as opposed to the tube white. And I'm pouring out way more paint than I need. Yeah, that over the shoulder camera's not going to work, is it?
Nope.
Well, shoot. Let's just block it out. I don't know why it's not working, but things to fix. Things to fix. So let's start with a bigger brush. Let's start with this brush that is not part of this mini set, because the first thing that I'm going to do is tone that background. And I'm using the white to deaden the blue, because it'll dull things up a little bit. And then I may add a touch of orange to that to gray it up a little. Just a touch. Yeah, that's nice. Let's zoom out. Since I can't change cameras like I wanted to, we can zoom out a little bit, and you can kind of see what we're doing. We don't want the background white. I don't want the background white because there'll be a white spot on the orange, and I want that to be the reflection of the light, and I want that to be the brightest spot on the painting, because the orange has a reflective surface.
Indeed.
And the stage that it's on is paper, so that the stage that it's on is matte, and it won't reflect, so it won't be as bright. There's way too much paint. I wonder if there's a way I could preserve that, but I don't think so. Ah!
What's that?
Loud noises. I probably should have warned you so you didn't have your headphones on. Hit the gun. Alright, let's see. I should have gotten the good brushes over here. I've got these little brushes that I really like to use. Since I haven't started using anything yet, I can move that out of the way and I can get to the other brushes. These brushes are nice, but they're tiny, and they don't give me broad coverage like I want at first. So I've got some broader round brushes that I like to do that with. So I'm just gonna start by taking that white and that orange, and I'm just gonna get a light orange color there, and I'm just gonna block in the general shape. And I know you're thinking, oh, the general shape is round, but then it wouldn't look like an orange, would it? We all know oranges aren't round.
They have a certain kind of slope in one area.
Yeah, everywhere where seam is, there's a flat side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the trick is to paint what you see, not just what you think is there. And so that's what we're going to do. It is what we're going to do. Now, there's lots of colors in this orange. I can't show you the orange because my over-the-shoulder camera's not working. Well, maybe I could take a picture of it and show you. Yeah, let's do that. From my perspective, where I'm sitting right here, there's lots of colors in that orange. You can see there's greens down here. There's blues and purples over here that are reflected off the background. There's a little bit of green in that stem. There's some red as the color transitions around the edges. So there's lots of colors in there. Even though you think, well, it's an orange, it should just be orange. And I know I've always thought it's an orange, it should just be orange, but it's not. I got a little spray bottle here to keep my acrylic paint from drying out too fast on me. That's how much blue I should have used a while ago. That little dollop right there, not that great big dollop. I wonder if this is cheapskate. I'm just going to be a cheapskate here for a second. I know how to do it. I've got a syringe. I can suck it up in the syringe. That didn't work. Does it get any more cheapskate than that? It's like a nickel's worth of paint. I'm worrying about a nickel's worth of paint. Alright, back to the task at hand. Hey, your orange is coming along pretty well over there, kiddo.
I'm just taking it in the shadow.
I'm just trying to get some big block colors in. I'm not prepared to fussy paint yet. So I'm trying to get some big block colors in, just trying to figure out where all these colors go. Hopefully, you know, it'll start to come together as an orange. You like that pencil, kiddo?
Yeah, I love it.
Now, let's see. Let's do some of the other colors here. Let's get a little bit of this blue. And let's get some of this red. A touch of that white. We'll get us a nice little gray purple going on there. And let's see if we can figure out where that stem needs to be. Where that crease is on that orange. See, you don't want to move to the small brushes too soon, because once you get to the small brushes and you start fussy brushing, that's when the painting's done. You start getting into the details.
Indeed.
You start getting into the details, and you start losing interest. And we can take that same purple and we can begin to talk about where that shadow is. So that we don't lose sight of the edges of our orange. It's the royal we. We are not losing sight of the edges of our orange. I can't do accents. I've always thought I could do accents, but I really can't. Alright, let's see here. Let's go back into this red orange over here. And let's darken it up with just a touch of blue. That'll give us a nice green tint. Got too much red. Easy to do. Easy to do. Touch of blue, just a touch of blue. Just a touch of blue. Way too much blue. Goodness gracious. That's having too much water on my brush. There. That's what I wanted right there. There we go. Now I can come down here and I can add this green in there and there. And I can come around here with it. And I can hit that stem. Alright. How you doing, boy? I need to dry this off real quick.
I'm doing well.
Okay. Alright. Let's see here now. Where were we? We had water all over the brush is the problem. And I've got this yellow. And I've got this blue to give me that green. And I just want it right there and there and just a little bit there, just to use it like it's a, you can't even hear me, just to use it like it's a little blemish on the orange. Now let's come back with touch more red. Can't talk. Harding. Huh? And while I have this orange on here, I'm going to add just a little bit of texture around. And then, while that's drying, I'm going to get just a little bit of this orange, and I'm going to add a little bit of it to this shadow. Just a little. Because on this side of that shadow, the light is reflecting back at me. And I can see orange in the shadow. But then over here, the problem when you paint small, for me, the problem is water gets up in the ferrule of your brush, and it just takes a small little drop of water to mess up your paint and make your paint drip instead of going where you're trying to get it to go. And so you have to figure out how to make sure you don't have water on the ferrule of your brush running down into your painting. You also want to make sure that if you're painting orange and purple at the same time, that they don't mix. Make sure one is dry before you paint the other. Otherwise you get what?
A brown?
Mud. Yeah. Mud. star. And then there's a shadow over there. There's a little bit right there on the star. And then there's this deep crevice right here. And then dots.
All over it. There's so many dots.
There's some pits, right?
Mm-hmm.
It might even be better to frame my brush a little bit so that I get more random dots. Just to get that texture. Alright. Now I think it's time to move to the small brushes. I used to have a magnifying glass. As a matter of fact, I still have it. I'm not sure what I do with it. It's in the, I know where it is. Don't try to take it out. I used to have a magnifying glass. I had a little bitty easel that I could put this block on, and I had a magnifying glass so that I could look through the magnifying glass and paint really tiny. That was really handy, but I don't have that set up right now, and I don't even know where that little easel is. But it was terribly handy, wasn't it, kiddo?
Mm-hmm.
That's long ago and far away, though. Let's try this little one. Alright. So where are we? We're in the shading. We want to make sure... Yeah. We're in the shading here. So we're going to come in here and we're going to start shading around this indentation right here. And then we're going to shade around the back side of this orange. And then we're going to shade right here. And over here. But this area that you can't see me pointing at needs to be brighter orange. Orange, nonetheless. Just brighter. Spot right here on the top of the orange. Ooh, bad angle. Spots here because the light is hitting it this way. There's spots here where the light is hitting it. about as close as we get. Now, are you done?
I think I may have to erase some dots, but besides that, kind of. Definitely think I drew too many dots.
Try it again.
Or just erase a couple from the big areas.
You don't want to use too much white. White does a lot of things. White makes it more opaque, but white deadens it. So you don't want to use too much white. If you can avoid using white, avoid using white as much as possible. So this isn't really white, this is like a lemon yellow. And then I'm just going to come back and highlight with white. Let's give that a second and let's go back over that shadow again. Trick is to make sure that the shadow is dark enough to make your orange stand out. But not overpower your painting. Come back with this orange, and I can come back with this orange red, and I can come back around this side where the light is reflected back off the paper at the orange, and then I can finish this off with just a couple of white highlights. And then we'll call it done. I'm not too terribly satisfied with that shadow though. I may have to do something drastic. I don't want the shadow to overpower the painting. But I don't want the orange to not look like it's bright. And gonna have a glare. What I'm doing right now is to help ease the transition, so that it doesn't just go orange green, orange purple, orange red. I'm trying to ease the transition. So that it looks more orange-like. And then we'll come back in and darken those shadows. That's too dark. Some of that back off. Ah. That's too dark. Water in my barrel. What's he doing? I don't know. Well, that did something. That's pretty cool. Alright. Last pass. How are we doing on time? Oh, it's only 8:45. Let's do a last pass with this white. And let's come in on that stem right there. Let's get some more of these. Some more of this texture on this orange. I think though that I am finished. So I'm going to take a moment here and I'm going to come down here in a corner and I'm going to sign it. Make sure I don't have any paint left in my acrylic paint left in my brushes, so that my brushes will be ready for me next time. I also like to shape them a little bit so that my brushes will be ready for me next time. And then let's turn this light back on so that you can get a better look at the finished product. That camera is just not as sharp. I think his camera is sharper. That was a nice camera too. I just don't think it's very sharp. Here, hold this up under your camera, see what it looks like. Yeah, that's much sharper. I may trade cameras with you. Alright, so let's peel this tape off. Whoa, it's so exciting.
It sounds so satisfying.
I like it. Okay. Now I'm going to do just a little bit of cleanup here. I'm going to do, but not with that brush. I'm going to use this brush. I'm going to do just a little bit of cleanup. Because I feel like this is very distracting. That's why you tape them down. See, that's why you tape them down. If I do this light enough, I should be able to just wipe it off where it crosses over on the border that I don't want it to cross over on the border. Okay, but we lost my signature. How dare! There we go. Now, make sure it's dry. Everybody put your mask on. See, that's Matt. Everybody, make sure you're wearing your mask.
Cough, cough.
It's really important that you wear your mask right now. Okay. And then we can take that set all that up just like that. But we need to turn this light back off. You can't see what we're doing. You can't see what we're doing because I can't, for some reason my over-the-shoulder camera is not updating. See, it's still stuck from way earlier before. But that was our setup. I intended for you to be able to see that. But because we're live, we're limited to what our options are here. But I can show you the finished product. Nope, I can't show you on that camera. I have to go to his camera. Here, hold that up to the camera. See how that looks. What? There we go. A little higher. There we go. See, it didn't turn out so bad. Still blurry though. I wonder why.
Why?
I wonder why.
Why?
Anyway, thanks for sticking it out with me. I know this was incredibly exciting watching the paint dry. Let's see if we can show it this way. Can we show it that way? Yeah, there we go. So there's the finished product. All right. So anyway, next week. I wonder why I did that. What are we doing next week?
An apple.
No, we're not doing an apple. No, next week we're going to work in the journal. That's exciting. Haven't done that in a while. So next week we'll work in the journal. So tune in next week. Same Artistic Biker time. Same Artistic Biker channel. Peace out, yo. And then you gotta freeze. When I do this, we gotta freeze like.